guys, it's Yaz. Tonight I'm going to talk about going after what you want. And the reason that I'm talking about this is because so many people lose out on good relationships by being too laid back. Like, everyone is so confused out there. Everyone's trying to play like hard to get, or I don't want to show him I've got interest in him. And the guys are doing the same thing, and they're being very laid back about things. And the women feel like, the men need to chase the women. And everybody has this attitude like, well, if they really want me, they'll come after me and break my doors down. Okay? Now, we're living in a different kind of world than we did years ago. I'm not saying to go chase anybody, but what I am saying is that when you see somebody who's worth it, somebody that you think you could have a future with that person, I mean, they're checking off all the boxes, and it's hard to say somebody's checking off all the boxes until you really get to know them and see what they're really about. Because just because somebody's good looking and let's say they're ambitious and they're doing well in their career and everything like that, that is not just checking off the boxes. Like I've talked about numerous times in my podcast, you have to look at somebody's basic character. Are they a good person? Are they a kind person? Do they sacrifice? This is what I mean about checking off all the boxes, looking at their family, looking at their track record, looking at, how they treat you, how much attention they give you. But the point I'm trying to make in this podcast is this. Sometimes we lose good people because we don't go after what we want. Now, the thing is, you have to remember, there's a difference between going after what you want and chasing somebody. If you chase somebody, then you're going off to the other extreme and you're making yourself look too desperate. There's a way to do it, to show somebody interest without coming off desperate, like bombarding them with messages when they're not responding back to you. If you put out that olive branch and you're trying to, show, you're making an effort to try to get to know somebody and show that person that you like them and, you're interested in them, you have to make sure that the person reciprocates, of course. You don't keep, coming at them and when are we going to get together? When are we going to get together? That is chasing somebody. So you have to know the difference. But if you're very, very laid back and you're thinking very much in a traditional way where you feel like, he's the guy, he's got to chase me down. I am the queen, I am the prize, I am this, I am that. Okay. First of all, you're going to be battling or competing with a lot of other, let's just say, in this case, women to men. You're going to be competing with a lot of other women that are very accessible, very easy to meet, and, maybe showing more attention to somebody than you're showing. So they're going to go with somebody who shows them interest back, not the person that sits back all the time and doesn't make the effort. So this is what I'm trying to say, you guys. Sometimes you have to make that effort to show that person that you are interested. And see, the problem is a lot of people are afraid to do that. We're all afraid of our ego. We're all afraid to show somebody interest because we're afraid of rejection. But you know what? Rejection is good in one sense because you're not sitting around waiting to see if this person likes you. If somebody is on the same page and they like you, they're going to reciprocate back. But if they don't, then you take a hint and you move on to somebody else and you haven't wasted your time. And you're showing that, you are not afraid to communicate. You are not afraid to make an effort. Okay? Now, like I say, it's a subtle way of doing that between showing interest and coming off desperate. And what I mean is, like, when you start talking to somebody, you're dating and talking to them on the phone or whatever like that, you have to keep the conversation going. Like if they're asking you questions about yourself, you have to ask them questions. You can't just say yes, no, yes, I guess so. Somebody's going to get very bored with you and move on to the next. You got to keep it interesting. It's almost like you go to a job interview, right? And there's a lot of people competing for the same job. What is going to make you different that they're going to hire you? What do you have to offer? What makes you special for that job to hire you? So what makes you special to this person that you're just starting to date and getting to know? What makes you different that person should take an interest in you? Okay? And there's a lot of ways you could show somebody interest. You could show them interest by asking them questions about themselves. People love that, you guys. When you ask somebody questions about themselves, they love it. Some people are so full of themselves, they'll go on for a whole hour talking about themselves, and that should be a red flag too, because they need to reciprocate in the conversation and be able to ask you questions as well. They need to take an interest in you as well. You have to really look at the conversation that you have with somebody and just see, are they on your level mentally? Can they have a conversation? Are you able to talk about certain topics? Are you able to talk about things like politics, what's in the news, the COVID situation? Are they up on things? Because that's another thing too. You want somebody who's on your same intellectual level. Because if you get involved with somebody who's not on your level intellectually, you may not think it's a big deal. But if you have a long-term relationship with that person and you start taking this person, let's say, to family get-togethers, or you start taking them to parties at work, and you're dealing with people that, have, very educated, let's say, for instance, and this person can't hold a conversation, you're going to lose respect for that person, and you're going to be embarrassed, and you're not going to be able to bring this person around your friends and family. So you want somebody that you could be proud of, that knows how to have a conversation, that is on your level intellectually. It's so important, you guys, because, when you're in a relationship with somebody, it's not all about, going out to dinner and having small talk like, yeah, you have a nice day? Yeah, I had a nice day. Yeah. What do you think of this weather? Yeah. That is nothing conversation. Zero zilch. That is nothing conversation. When you have conversations like that, you get nothing out of it, okay? Except bore the other person, and you're boring them when you talk like that. You need to get into the nitty-gritty with somebody and be able to have a conversation and talk about different topics, Like I said in the beginning, you don't want to, tell everybody your whole life story because you don't know who this person is. As they build your trust, you tell them more and more. But the thing is, when somebody starts the conversation with you, and let's say they bring up a topic, let's say they talk about, their education or where they went to school or something like that, you kind of have to relate to that and keep the conversation going and bring up different things to keep it going. You can't just, make small talk. This is what I'm trying to say. A lot of times when people are dating and they have those little conversations in the beginning, they have like small talk conversations. How was your day? Good? Yes. Okay, great. But it's like, it's not enough to keep a person interested. So, to keep a person interested, you have to be interesting, is what I'm trying to say. So in order to go after what you want to be interesting to that person in whatever way it could be. It could be, by having a conversation and letting them know that, you're a very intelligent person. You know how to have a conversation about certain topics that you want to bring up, about being a kind person. You're showing off your different qualities of how kind you are. and being understanding, and let the person talk. Let the person talk. Don't always be the one sitting there, talking the whole time. Let the other, it's better actually when you're dating somebody to let the other person do most of the talking. Number one, because you get to see what they're about. And, if they get less information about you, they're going to want to keep knowing more and more and more about you. You don't want to tell somebody on the first date everything about you. You don't want to get into the exes. Nobody wants to hear about the exes in the beginning, okay? And, there's a whole bunch of reasons why you shouldn't get into that in the beginning anyway. So these are the things that you have to do when you're starting to get to know somebody, and you have to go for what you see is a potential match for you. If you're seeing that this person, everything seems to be flowing, I always talk about, watch out for this, watch out for that, watch out for this. Now I'm talking about, okay, you got somebody that looks good now. And I mean, not just from a physical standpoint. You have somebody that you could see yourself with down the road. Now, you don't want to let that person slip through your hands by being laid back. You guys, you have to reciprocate, and you can't be too much old school, because when you're too much old school, you may lose that person. Now, that all depends on if you're dealing with an old school type of dude, okay? That's why I tell you, you have to know what kind of cat you're dealing with. You have to know, do they have masculine energy? Do they have feminine energy? How do they view relationships? Are they somebody who takes control? Or are they somebody that's a little laid back and likes somebody else to take control? Like, I had a friend of mine, she was dating this guy. This guy was in the military, very masculine looking type of guy. He was an officer in the military and everything like that. You would say by looking at him, this guy is an alpha male, right? But yet, this guy was the type of guy that liked a woman to take the lead. Certain times he said he likes a woman to show interest. All right? He likes a woman sometimes to show interest. All right? So you got to, number one, know who you are. Who are you? What type of person are you? What type of relationship are you looking for? Do you want somebody that is going to take total control? Or are you somebody who likes to have all the control? Or do you believe that, it's a mutual thing between the two of you? You work together, it's 50-50. You have to see who you're working with, and if they're, coming from the same place as you. Like I always say, you got to be on the same page when you're dealing with somebody. But the thing is, when you go after what you want, okay, you have to be very careful not to come off desperate. Like, I had a friend of mine, she went to Columbia Law School, and she met her husband in law school, right? And she liked this guy. He was a very good-looking guy. There were a lot of women that liked him when she was in school. And she said, I'm going after him. He's going to be my husband, all right? And she made herself known without coming off desperate. And lo and behold, they ended up getting married. And, they had 2 kids together. But the point I'm trying to make is, so many people lose out on good people by expecting too much. And in today's world, if you just sit back too much, time is going to go by and people are going to slip by. And when there's so much out there and there's so many different options, you have to set yourself apart from the rest. And you can't be afraid to take that risk. okay? And there's a way to do it so that you don't make yourself look desperate or weak or anything like that. It's basically by showing interest. If somebody is smiling at you, there's nothing wrong. You smile back. You can make conversation. You can initiate the conversation. But you don't come on overly strong and kill that person by overdoing it. See, that's the thing. You don't want to overdo it. You just want to show a little bit of flirtation, a little bit of interest, and then, it's like a ping pong. You want to see, are they going to come back at you? And then you take it from there. Now, you can't get down if certain people don't, follow through with you. Then they're not for you. Then maybe they're just not interested in you in that way, but there's nothing wrong with you because everybody has a different type. What would be my type might not be my girlfriend's type, and vice versa. Somebody that might be interested in me might not be interested in somebody else. See, everybody's got a certain type that they like. So people like, alpha males. Some don't like alpha males. Some like women that take control. Others like women that are very submissive. So it's all depending on who you're dealing with and knowing yourself and knowing what is a match, okay? It's very hard when you have an alpha male and you have an alpha female together in a relationship because they're always going to be battling for control, okay? Like an alpha male may expect that, he's going to take the control and everything, and an alpha female might be the type to say, you know what, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not going to put up with that double standard, because there's a lot of alpha males that believe in kind of like double standard kind of things. So you have to know who you are, and you have to know the person that you're dealing with as well to see if you two are a match. Now, one other thing I want to bring up is this. One thing that you don't do, okay? These are the exceptions to the rule as far as going after what you want. When somebody rejects you, that's it. You leave them where they are, okay? Out of your life. You don't deal with somebody who plays games, plays mind games on you. You don't deal with somebody who doesn't value you. You don't deal with somebody who makes you a second or third or fourth choice, okay? That's not who you go after. That's not who you go after what you want. I don't care how good looking they are, all right? They're not valuing you. So you don't go after somebody who's not valuing you. And if somebody rejects you, let's say you were dating that person and all of a sudden they back off from you for whatever reason. Maybe they met somebody else or they're talking to somebody else, all right? And then all of a sudden they come back to you because maybe it didn't work out with that other person. That is somebody that you need to put on the side and not bother with, because that's somebody, you were not their first choice. You were not their first choice, and now they're coming back to you. And if they come back to you, they'll be good for a little while till they find somebody else, okay? That is not somebody that's going to value you. And in the beginning is when their interest is the highest. So if their interest is not high in the beginning and they've already put you in category B and came back, that is not somebody that you go after, okay? I need to make this distinction, because when I say go after what you want, that means basically, we're talking about a clean slate here, not a prior ex that you were in a relationship with and it was toxic and you're still thinking about them and you're chasing after them. No, okay? You need to let those people go. You need to let those people go, okay? Because even if they come back, even if you chase after somebody and they come back, your value goes to zero, okay? because they rejected you the first time and you're chasing them again, and now they're back. And what do you think? You think their impression of you has changed? No. They're back for whatever reason. Maybe they're back for a benefit. Maybe they're back because things weren't working out with whoever they were dealing with. So they figured they'd fall back on you till something better comes along. No, that is not somebody that you chase after. That's it. You got to let those kind of situations go. Because if you let it back into your life, it's going to be the same repeat thing, Same guy, same results. Same girl, same results, all right? Remember that when I tell you. So how do you go after what you want, okay? You show that person interest. Obviously, you show them interest, but you are clear on what you want, okay? You're clear on what you want. And I don't mean like on the first or second or third date that you're starting to talk about, I want to be married and I want, 2.5 kids and I want to live. No, you don't even have those conversations in the beginning, okay? I mean, by like the third date or whatever, and you go moving on, you could let them know your intentions, that you're not just dating looking for a hookup, that you are dating with a purpose. You are dating with a purpose, all right? And the purpose is to find a potential partner for long term, okay? You don't want to hit them too much too soon, because you may turn somebody off because they may say to themselves, well, this person is just looking to get married, or this person's just looking for a relationship and she doesn't even know me. She might just be looking for a situation, okay, to be in, to be married to somebody or whatever. Maybe she feels her biological clock is ticking or whatever. So you don't want to come off like that, all right? But, by like the third date or whatever, or later, you let them know, you know what? I'm dating with a purpose. I'm dating with a purpose, okay? I'm not just dating to waste my time or whatever. Now, if this person has a problem with it, and this person comes back at you and they say something to you to the effect like, well, I'm just going with the flow. Anybody tells you going with the flow is like a red flag. That person is going to waste your time. Going with the flow, translation for going with the flow is basically, I don't want anything associated with commitment. Going with the flow means I'm just looking to hook up. That's it, okay? So you got to know, the nonsense language that these people use, because they're afraid to tell you, I don't want a relationship. So, that's the translation of that. If somebody says anything to you to the effect like, maybe in time or this or that, if they seem a little wishy-washy or whatever, then they're really not looking for what you're looking for. And these are all red flags. How they answer you tells you a lot. Because if they're on the same page as you, they should be just as transparent as you. And if they're not, it's better in the beginning than waste your time with somebody who's a zero and is going to waste your time, okay? So, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with letting somebody know you are dating with a purpose, okay? And that's that, then you see what their response is and if it's going to flow and everything like that. And if it flows, then, you get a little bit in depth with them when it comes to conversation. You get into the nitty gritty, okay? You get into the meat. And you think about, okay, what is this person about? Is this person somebody that I could really grow with? Is there enough substance to this person to grow with this person? Okay, and the only way you're going to know that is through conversation. And I mean in-depth conversation, not on the surface conversation. And that's another thing too I want to bring up, you guys. Players do not want to have in-depth conversations. They don't care. They don't want to sit there. They don't want to tell you about their exes. They don't want to tell you too much about their life because you know why? They don't plan on sticking around too long. So players will always have on the surface conversations. They'll talk about things like you read in the newspaper, they'll talk about things like the weather, or they'll talk about, did you have a good day? Or, just very generalized kind of conversation. They don't really care. They don't care. That's why I tell you all the time, if somebody's not asking you questions about yourself, and I mean in-depth questions, all right? Not just how was your day, or what do you do for a living, or, do you have kids? Those are like the two big questions that they know they have to ask. They pretend to be interested. They say, oh, what do you do for a living? And then the next one is, do you have kids? Okay. And then if they don't ask you anything else more in depth about yourself, you are dealing with a zero. Okay. Point blank, you are dealing with a zero that is just looking to go out and bide their time till they get you in the sack. That's it, okay? I just had to say it like it is because it happens to be the truth, all right? Conversations that you have with these people tell you a lot about them, okay? And it doesn't matter whether they're talking, oh, yes, I would love to be married one day. Yeah, that's one of my goals, and I love kids and everything. That's nice. Great. Okay. That's nice. We'll see. Okay. We'll see as time goes on if they're consistent with you and they're getting on the phone with you. Okay. And the other thing is when you go for what you want, like I said, you want to show interest, but you don't want to be like on the phone with somebody new all night long, because that's the fine line between showing interest and looking desperate. When you're on the phone with them for an hour, you're giving them an hour of your day. Okay, that should suffice in the beginning, because you're going to be giving them an hour of your day every day, right? In the beginning, as you start dating them, the first couple of weeks, rather than be on a lot of them, what they'll do is they'll the first week they come on strong, they'll have you on the phone for hours, and then by week 2 they disappear. By week 2 they're touch basing, hey beautiful, good morning, good night beautiful, and that's it. That's somebody who's not being on the level. That's not somebody who's really interested in getting to know you. Like I said, progressive dating, moving forward, not just the touch base syndrome. When you start to see the touch base syndrome, then you are dealing with somebody that you should not take seriously, and you should not give that person a lot of your time. They don't deserve a lot of your time, okay? Time is important. You don't realize, and you especially don't realize it when you're young, just how important your time is. It's not till later on in life that you look back on your life and you see the people that you had relationships with, or the time that you spent with these people, and you say to yourself, I can't believe I wasted all this time on these people. They don't deserve my time. They were not worth my time, okay? And you don't see it now, but you will see it later on if you waste your time with the wrong people. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to help you with, so that you don't make these mistakes and you give your time to the right people, the people that show you interest and want to move forward. And when you're dealing with a cat that's showing you interest, you got to show interest back and let that person know you are interested, okay? Not that they need to roll out that red carpet, and you expect, the royal family to roll in. You know what I'm saying? You have to make an effort too. You have to make an effort too, because there's a lot of guys out there that have said, you know what, this woman, she's not making enough of an effort, and they move on to the next. So, when somebody says to you something like, let's say you go out on a date with them, right? And everything goes great and everything. And they say something like, I'd really like to see you again. You got to let them know, yes, definitely, I would love to see you again, Then you throw the ball into their court, okay? So they make a date and you say, you let me know when is good for you, okay? So now they know they have to respond to a specific date and time. It's not just left in limbo. Sometimes you got to, you got to throw it out there and put it on them so that they progress and they know that you're looking to progress, not just like, yes, it was a good time. Yes, I enjoyed it. Thank you. Okay. No, you throw it back on them and say, yes, I had a great time. I'd love to do it again. Let me know when you want to get together again. Okay. Then the ball is in their court and then you see how do they respond to that. Okay. Are they calling you the next day? Or are they not calling you the next day? Are they waiting a week to call you? Are they waiting to see you again? These are all red flags that tell you if somebody's interested, okay? And some guys try to play it cool. They try not to, contact you the next day or whatever, all right? But the thing is this, you have to see how it progresses. If somebody's playing too many games, then that's not somebody you want to bother with, all right? If you're being open and you're being transparent, that person needs to be the same way, okay? You're showing them that you're transparent. They need to be transparent as well. You're making that person feel comfortable. If you're not playing games with them, they should recognize that and treat you with the same respect and not play games back, okay? And that's how you go about it when you're trying to go after what you want, okay? I hope that helps you. If it did, please hit the subscribe button and share. Have a great night. If there's any topics you are looking for me to podcast on, please send me an email. The email's in the podcast description on the topic you would like to hear on here. Thanks. Audible is offering listeners a 30-day trial. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free 30-day trial. You get to select any book that you want on there and listen to it. They have books on there about breadcrumbing, love bombing, why did they lose interest, dating, relationship, any kind of book you're interested in and want to learn about, okay? You could listen to it in your car or if you're on the bus or the train. So go to my podcast description for the link at tinyurl.com/Ask Yaz Now and start your free trial. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz. I want to tell you about my 2 books that are on Amazon, okay? You can download them free with the trial membership from Kindle. The first book is Regain Your Power. If you're in a relationship and you feel like your partner has all the control in the relationship, maybe you're walking around on eggshells, you're afraid to approach them, it's going to tell you how to regain your power and be happy in the relationship, okay? And what you may be doing wrong, and that's why your partner has all the control in the relationship. The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time. There's a lot of people that are dating someone or in a relationship with somebody who's not really vested in the relationship. And we often are confused as to whether our partner really likes us or is into us or wants a future with us. And this book is going to give you signs and red flags of whether your partner is into you or he's just basically drifting and wasting your time. So go to Amazon and download the Kindle free trial membership. Doesn't cost you anything. And check it out. It may help you. Okay? And have a great day.